Watch you get dressed, know we got plans, we can break up. I'll send a text to all of our friends, tell them we're not gonna make it. All of these years, all of this time, so you got all my attention. Yeah, you got all my attention. The way that your head falls in the morning when you first wake up. The way that I know all of the weird things in your coffee cup. I love the way I know that you're lying, the way that you're smiling. Darling, I love that I know you like no one does. Like no one does. How you talk in your sleep, play the songs on repeat till you know every single word. What you hate, what you like, I see all of your sides and the new ones I'm trying to learn. The way that your head falls in the morning when you first wake up. The way that I know all of the weird things in your coffee cup. I love the way I know that you're lying, the way that you're smiling. Darling, I love that I know you like no one does.
All right. Thank you so much, Sharif, for the musical intro. Thank you. Thank you. And hello, everyone. So nice to be here with all of you. My name's Paulina Cameron. My pronouns are she, her, and I get the pleasure of being the CEO at the forum. I want to thank you all so much for joining us. Our audience today, watching live and watching afterwards, is made up of our tremendous community of folks who love supporting women entrepreneurs, who are donors, our sponsors, our mentors, our speakers. And we're so happy to have the opportunity to share with you some tangible stories of the impact of your support. I'm going to start us off today by recognizing and letting you know that I'm dialing in from the traditional and stolen land of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh people. As a first-generation white settler, I feel a particular appreciation and privilege to be on this ground, as well as tremendous gratitude to the gratitude and responsibility to the elders of this land who have been stewards here for time immemorial. Myself and the forum remain committed towards a journey of truth and reconciliation by acknowledging and continuous unlearning of practices that perpetuate inequity, violence, and mistreatment of Indigenous peoples. As we have folks dialing in from all across the country today, I'd invite you to learn more about the land that you are on. We're going to pop a link in the chat for you to be able to do that. And then I'll also invite you to let us know in the chat where you're dialing in from today. We'd love to hear where the community is located on the line. So we are here today, 2 months post the Odlum Brown Forum Pitch finale, which is wild to me. I can't believe it's already been 2 months. It feels like it was both yesterday and a year ago, but it has been 2 months. And we're going to be checking in with our incredible finalists and finding out where are they now, what has happened for them, what's been standing out, what was the experience like, and what has it been feeling like since we were in a room together, since we were virtually together with an audience of over 2,000 from all across the country and some out of country folks. We had, if we remember back to the program, we had initial just under 400 applications this year, 12 semi-finalists and 10 community members who selected these amazing women entrepreneurs and their businesses to go forward onto the finals. Just before we dive into the conversation and the introductions, a few Zoom housekeeping notes. If you would like to activate closed captioning for the session, you can click so below. And if you have any troubles with that, let us know in the chat and our team will be able to support you. And then we will ask that you stay muted throughout the conversation so that we can hear our speakers, but we do have our chat feature enabled and we encourage you to connect with us and with one another there. And as a note, in Zoom, the chat is not anonymous. So if you have any questions for the entrepreneurs, feel free to pop them into the chat or to message a team member or myself directly if you prefer to do that as well. All right, let's dive into our conversation together. So on screen, we're going to bring up here Ashwaq, Whitney, Brianna, and Aria. And as we do so, I'm going to remind us of their incredible businesses. Ashwaq is the co-founder and CEO of INViCARE, which is a biotechnology startup aiming to develop innovative and patented biomaterials to revolutionize dental implant care. Brianna and Aria are the co-founders of Pocketed, an intelligent matching platform and marketplace that helps startups and small businesses across North America easily access billions of dollars every year in grants, tax credits, and business incentive programs. And Whitney is one of the co-founders of Jems. Her colleague, her second co-founder, Yasmin, isn't able to join us today, but says hello. And gems are condoms made with intention, focused on clarity and simplicity and using what's only essential because they believe everyone should have access to safer sex choices, which feels in today's moment in time that we find ourselves in, one of very important conversations to be having around choices for women in particular. All right, so we're going to dive into conversation now, and I'll begin with the same question for each of you, and maybe Ashwaq, we will begin with you today. And what I wanted to check in about is, how has life been in the last 2 months for you? What has been happening for you since we saw you at the pitch finale?
Hello, everyone. I'm so glad to be here and to catch up after 2 months of that great event. For me, the experience was really rich. I met a lot of people. I got a lot of support, and it feels really, really so good to have this support as a woman founder, and also a female who's really struggling and challenging to bring this innovative technology to the market. In the past 2 months, I was really digging deep into these conversations with different candidates and for the business dev, because I'm looking to fill this business development position in my company. So I had several referrals from my mentors and mentors that I got or connected to through the forum. Thank you for the forum and the network. And also, I was working also on several operations for the product optimization, for the clinical study, which is the critical step in my business to launch my product. And the big achievement also, I saw it after getting this network and also having the event, is I have the mentors that I was connected to through the forum. Now they are officially advisors in my company. So I got 3 of them. So I'm so lucky to have them. They're supporting me. And now we're officially working together through the financing to close our financing. Like that's our plan to be done within the coming 3 months. And also the referrals for the business person came through them. So we're also talking to some candidates at this stage.
Oh my gosh, you have not been busy at all, Ashwaq. My goodness, that's incredible. That's incredible. It's so amazing to hear the mentors in the community that have now translated into being part of your community and your business. And so exciting to hear about the round you are going to be closing on such an incredible timeline too. That is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing, Ashwaq.
Thank you, everyone.
Brianna, Aria, let's go to you next. 2 months. What has been happening for you?
Yeah, it's been a wild 2 months. I would say there's been so much change for us as a company, but there's also been a lot of change at a macroeconomic level. I'm sure we're all seeing the same things with what's going on and the economic downturn, interest rates and inflation skyrocketing. And that has put a lot of really interesting pressure on businesses, particularly on startups and small businesses with access to financing options. So it's been an interesting time to be doing what we do, because it's made it more important for businesses in many ways to have access to alternative funding sources. And government funding is something that, of course, is a powerful tool for people that are looking to overcome financial barriers to growing their business. So at a macroeconomic level, there's been some really wild stuff. And both, I think, because of that, but also the network, the exposure, the community that came out of our experience at the forum, we've seen massive growth in users, almost 50% growth in our users in the last 2 months. So it's been really, really busy for our team. They've been working hard to make sure that they're able to keep adding value to all of the people that come to Pocketed. So it's been hectic, to say the least. Aria, would you add anything?
Yeah, we really heard users on they're like, great, Pocketed's great, and so after that is always really what we want to pay attention to. And you're going to see a massive update to the platform in the next month or so here. So lots more happening in terms of self-serve and automation and new ways to interact with programs that kind of have this educational piece built in. So really, really excited about that on the tech front. And just the speed, like yesterday I was on a call with Brianna and she's like, I edited this thing, like, what is it? And I was like, I have no clue what you're talking about. And she's like, you sent it to me last Monday. And I was like, oh, that's old. Like, that's designs from last week. Like this week we've moved on. And so that's like really kind of the cadence that we're moving at, which is fantastic. We really want to offer the most useful thing. And so that feedback component that we've gotten from users and from the forum has been invaluable.
It's amazing. I always remark at how entrepreneurs are able to get into that feedback loop so quickly and apply it and deep value in doing that in a community and space where, they're there and giving you feedback because they want to use it and they want to support you in doing it. It's not to tear down. It's not to do pieces, but it's like, yes, and better. Yes, and.
Exactly.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. And congratulations. And Whitney, what's been happening for Gems? Oh, you're muted. Thanks for being the one to take the muted line.
Yeah, exactly. It always happens. So excited to be talking here. It's been a crazy last 2 months. I think the build up to the forum and really kind of preparing ourselves to be able to pitch in that kind of a way helped us hone our pitch so much. And since then, we've successfully raised $700,000. We've met with a lot of quality investors, some that were directly from the forum, and just otherwise the whole experience really gave us the clout and kind of the power to be able to talk to the people that we wanted to talk to. So that's really exciting. We have at the end of our CVS test with pharmacies in the States, and it's been going amazing. So we're just kind of waiting to hear on what's happening with that. We're launching in 122 Loblaws stores and Whole Foods in July. We have kind of like a more firm time to launch with Target. Also happening soon, we participated in the LA Pride, we participated in Rhode Island Pride, Toronto Pride. We sponsored 2 virtual education sessions about boundaries and queering condoms. We are partnering with the Ace Hotel in Toronto on a series of activations all about sexual health in this fall. And kind of just as you were mentioning, Brianna, like the climate, I mean, obviously with the strike down of Roe, the topic of safer sex and contraception is extremely important. So we're doing everything we can right now to support abortion clinics down in the States and continuing to use our platform for good in that way. We're currently matching donations to abortion funds, but we'll be continuing to donate condoms and otherwise just using our platform in support of education.
Amazing. Well, congratulations on getting into all those stores. Those are not small names, Loblaws, Targets, and incredible to see you stepping in when it's so important in this moment in time to show support and to activate whatever you can with your business. So thank you for all the work you're doing on that front as well, Whitney. Okay, I want to do a little bit of like a time rewind, which can we stay back maybe in that time rewind for a moment, although it feels like we've gone back number of centuries in some ways, but where I want to take us is to August 2021, which is when you were applying for the Foreign Pitch program. And I want to hear what motivated you to sign up for it? And then what was the experience actually like vis-a-vis what maybe you thought it might be like? So a bit of like a retro comparison. Let's maybe start with Team Pocketed this time.
Brianna was, I think 9 months pregnant and on a tear. And Brianna's always on a tear. Like she's the craziest person that I know, which I tell her all the time, like this is not a secret. And so she was just like, this baby's gonna, this baby better stay in for days, like blah, blah, blah. That, every call I'm getting from her, she was working, basically 24 hours a day. And I was always the opposite. I was always like, get this sucker out, And she's just like, the longer it can stay in, the better. And this was one of the last things that was on her list to complete. She was like, I am going to finish this before I have this baby. And she really nailed it. That was a really productive time. Pregnant Brianna is incredibly productive.
And so we were super motivated to participate in the program. because it does a lot for forcing you. I think Whitney did a good job of saying that. It forces you to really refine your business, your messaging, your pitch in a way that you often don't take the time and make the space for if you're not participating in a program like this. So it was incredibly valuable for us. And we knew from that perspective that having the opportunity to share about Pocketed, get the feedback from a community that is a really important priority for us. Women entrepreneurs is a very important priority for us to make sure that we're actually democratizing access to capital. So to be able to reach this audience was a huge motivator for being part of the forum pitch. And it was an amazing experience. So should we talk about experience too, Paulina?
Yeah, tell me like what you thought would be, and then looking back of like, oh gosh, yeah.
We had no idea what to expect, to be completely honest. We submitted our application. We didn't know what to expect from the process. We had attended the events before, so we knew they were a lot of fun, but we didn't know what to expect as participants in the program. So one of the biggest things, and I know we spoke about this with Paulina, that was a takeaway for us, is it doesn't feel competitive against the other folks in the room. So it didn't feel competitive against Jems or against Ashwaq and INViCARE. It really felt like you were competing against yourself about how do you make our business better? How do we refine our pitch? How do we speak to our audience? And it gave us that platform to improve and helped us work with mentors that made a big impact on that as well. Ali Pejman did a great job helping us do that. So we didn't know what to expect. And I would say it's been an incredibly positive experience. The mentorship, the community, the growth coming out of it was so far beyond our expectations.
I love that you had said that. And it was really interesting because I think I had talked to you both first and then maybe to Whitney after, or reverse. And you both had said the same thing. And then Ashwaq said the same thing in a different way. So I want to pick up on that thread of you didn't feel like at any point in the process, you felt like you were competing against one another or against any other women entrepreneur, but you were competing against what was the best possible version of what you were able to put out and create. And I love, and I'm so glad that the intention of our programming and how we designed it really came through around it. And I think it's a testament also to, often in pitch programs, we call it pitch program. A lot narrative out there is more around pitch competition. And we very thoughtfully and intentionally stick with pitch program because we actually don't want to be creating an environment where we are pitting women against one another for scarce resources. But rather we are going, how do we uplift many and all and provide the tools, the resources, the community along the way to be able to access that. So we were so glad to hear that. And thank you for mirroring that for us. So let's go to you, Whitney, now. When you were first applying, what did you think it would be? What motivated you? And then how was the experience?
Yeah, I don't think we knew what we were getting into at all. We were sent it by a friend, and we thought, this would be great. It looked like something interesting. Certainly, again, meeting other female entrepreneurs was something that was appealing to us because we don't know a lot of them. But what we didn't really realize that we were going to get out of it was how much it has created an idea of what it is to be a founder for us. Yasmin and I are still continue to run a successful design and communications company in Toronto, but running that and being a founder and entrepreneur is a very different thing. And we kind of never understood what our role was in that. And that has been very transformative for us, I would say, in this. As well, meeting the other finalists and semi-finalists was a really amazing experience also, just to see different paths and avenues. That's something that feels a little more tangible, rather than listening to NPR, how I built this. It's really nice to meet people in the flesh. And then in terms of what we got from the program, even Valerie, we worked with as a presentation coach. We couldn't have raved more about, the things that she made us do to be able to use our voice in more powerful ways, and how to use our language to really tell our stories in more powerful ways. And it's, translated into every element of our lives, even in speaking to our children, I feel like. So, there's been only amazing things to come out of this. We're going to continue with the mentorship program from the forum going forward. And it really has just exceeded our expectations. It was more work than we thought it would be. But it's like that no pain, no gain. Like you did a lot of work, and it came out so much more than we would have ever imagined.
And I love that it continues to be the gift that keeps on giving. And so often when we're running businesses, it's like, we're in the work, we're in the day-to-day, we're go, go, go. And to have something that makes you go forest for the trees for a moment is definitely an investment, and one that continues to pay off. So I'm so glad to hear that. Thanks for sharing, Whitney. How about you, Ashwaq? How did you hear about it, come to apply it, and then what was it like for you?
Yeah, so I think I was in the same situation of Brianna. I was in my last month of pregnancy. And seriously, because I'm really located in Montreal, so far away from Vancouver, we haven't really heard about the forum and or even the support that gives to the women founders. So I knew about it by my CTO, because she was really looking into finding grants to apply. So we're really trying to close our financing round. And she just ran the link and told me this is the new agency to support women founders. Should we apply? I told her, yes, why not? This is really great. She was like hesitating because it's in Vancouver. Maybe we don't have really a lot of support. It's not really national. So when I went through the website and saw the events and previous support and previous also events happening before, I was so excited to join. We applied, and I even recorded that 1 minute video while I was really so tired. Afterwards, seriously, I did not really expect to be a lot of work, especially I was expecting my baby by the end of August. So I was like, okay, it's just like any other competition. We're gonna apply. It will be one event. That was in my mind, one event. I'm gonna go and pitch, and that's it. If I'm not really in a good situation, you will go and pitch. I was talking to my CTO. And then I saw that it's really different rounds of finalists and going, from round to round. It's a lot of work. I seriously did not expect to do a lot of work, but when I went through those stages, I really liked it, because first, I did not feel that I'm competing everyone, as Brianna said. I was happy for everyone, maybe because we are female founders and everyone is really facing a lot of challenges. So you feel really happy for others if they get the support, even if you don't win. When I went also through the semi-finalist pitches and event, I liked it because I saw a lot of people, also female founders, that they're struggling, but also they're doing their best to move their business forward. I like that really rich experience, and going also through different mentorships by two mentors. I worked also some sessions with Valerie on the pitch. That was really a rich experience for me. You can also find that I changed completely my slides. I changed also the pitch, the narrative. That was also based on my mentorship sessions and also working with Valerie. I improved I was really trying to improve the pitch, the scenario, the story, make it a bit simpler, because I'm really high-tech technology and will be really difficult to pitch it in a really very attractive and marketing side. So that's really was rich, and I did not really regret the time or the work that I've been really doing during that stage. It was hard on me with that little baby. Now she's 10 months, by the way, she's grown. But yeah, it's completely worth it. Yeah.
I love that you have babies that are the age of the pitch program. It's really sweet. Amazing. Thank you, Ashwaq, just for sharing that. So good to hear about the mentorship piece and how that refinement and going through it kept holding opportunities to do that. So you all talked about, the work that gets put into a process like this. And I'd love to hear from you. You talked about kind of the immediate value. And as you think about it, and you think about how we can continue supporting women entrepreneurs and what is really needed to keep seeing more on stages like this, what do you think is broadly needed to see more women pitching, more women getting the financing? Oh, I have a call coming in. Not available. To see more women feeling really, really great taking the stage, and to hear more stories of incredible businesses like this. What is in each of your worlds that you respectively work in? What are some of the stories, narrative, or concerns maybe that you're hearing right now from women entrepreneurs? Let's maybe, if we can start with you, Whitney.
I mean, I feel like what I'm hearing a lot out there is in terms of fundraising. I know for Yasmin and I, we very much came from a design-led approach in our business. We started Jems because it was fundamentally a design and communication failure would have been happening. But we didn't necessarily have the finance background to be able to speak about it. And sure, we have a team, and somebody directly, a finance director that works with us that does know that. But when we are going out there to pitch, and similarly, in other conversations I've had with women entrepreneurs, they have the idea, they have the kind of way to start it. But when it comes down to actually pitching in terms of raising money, that's where there's a very hard wall. And it seems that there's a steep learning curve. There's kind of an expectation, even from initial investors, that are doing really early round stuff, that you should have some understanding of how to raise money and what that is. And a lot of women are out of those conversations and are not a part of that financial side early on. So I think the more women can understand that, there's a community out there to support them with that as part of the pitch process. You don't have to be an expert in that. I think that's really a pain point that we have experienced ourselves, and I see similarly amongst other female entrepreneurs.
Yeah, that really resonates and tracks to other pieces I've heard. Aria, Brianna, how about you? What do you think?
I mean, I agree with Whitney. Sorry, Brianna.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm just kidding. Yes.
Yes.
I mean, because Brianna and I both started other businesses like Whitney, and I know the first round, I got an accounting book and read it cover to cover. I had no better ideas. Like, that was my solution. And that's not great. Like, I don't want to become an accountant, but I didn't know what else to do. So just some of that kind of stuff really resonates with me. I actually also really like the forum community compared to a lot of other startup communities. No one says the word hustle and grind, which I have a deep appreciation for. So, there are different vibes to different communities, and this is one that I feel much more at home and at peace within. So it has been a really great experience.
We have toddlers who are hustling and grinding for us, right?
Exactly.
I would totally agree. I think the financial literacy piece is a big deal. It's something that I agree with you, Whitney, and I experienced as well and continue to experience. It's a big gap. And I don't know that there's a lot of great resources out there. I think it's a huge programming opportunity. It's a mentorship opportunity. It's an advisory opportunity. I feel grateful to have mentors and advisors from our accelerators, entrepreneurship at UBC, CDL, who've really helped us with that. The forum, I think, does a great job of that as well from a mentorship standpoint. And that gives you a platform to learn. It's scary when you're trying to raise money and telling people all about your idea and getting lots of no's, and it's intimidating. So I think it's helpful to have the resources. Something else that I would say in general, and I know Aria and I talk about this a lot, we need mentorship as women, absolutely. But at the end of the day, we need more women participating in innovation. And the way to do that is to make sure that more women's businesses and ideas are funded. We need more money, full stop. So yes, it's a being part of those conversations, but there also just simply needs to be more money available for women to be accessing. It's interesting because we were just looking at how many grants in our platform are just for women, because we get that a lot. Female founders come to us and say, I'm a female-led business, I'm a female-founded business. What money should I be going after that's meant for me? The answer is there's less than 2% of grants in Canada that are only for women.
So that's interesting because that tracks along with the statistic of 2.4% of venture capital going to white women entrepreneurs and less conventional loans as well.
It's worse. So it's interesting because as a woman and as a person of color or as a person of any equity seeking group, you'll often have priority access to funding pools, but there aren't a lot of programs that are just for you. So, we tell people all the time, don't just look for or try to access the woman money. Go after all the money. So I think that financial literacy component is a big supporting factor in how we can help drive more of that for women.
And when you say capital, do you specifically mean equity capital?
All of it. It's equity capital, it's non-dilutive capital, it's debt, it is all of it. And my gosh, we haven't even talked about debt, but that is a whole other world. The banks are not your friends. So yeah, there's lots of feedback to offer should they ever wish to hear it.
Amazing. Well, I feel like we might have some folks on the line that are from those groups that I know are really trying and working hard, and there's always opportunity for conversation that we would welcome to, and we'll get you plugged into one of the programs that our team is working on is actually working with financial institutions around supporting their work with women entrepreneurs. And we'll be soon going out to our community of entrepreneurs and share what your experience has been, what has been feedback, so that we can really amalgamate it. So Brianna, you're officially on the outreach list for that. I'll be telling my team, all of you, of course. Ashwaq, how about you? What do you hear and feel around really stepping in and supporting women entrepreneurs?
I think I agree totally with the great founders here. It's mostly the fundraising, the big challenge for any startup, and in particular, female founders, especially for the first time female founder or high-tech people. I came from academia, I came from like the scientific, innovative technologies field. So when I go and pitch to investors, I think they don't have trust in any female founders that they can lead a company or startup to success. And when it comes also for the first founder or a high-tech person that's coming, they don't see that business-driven mindset. So I think what is gonna really work here is more coaching, mentorship in all aspects of the business, especially the finances, which is really the most difficult part of the business. I also see from my experience, the legal aspect of the business, if there is any agreements or any legal aspect related to the fundraising or even in general for the subcontractors, because that's been really my pain for the past 1 year working with different subcontractors, and they don't really stick to the agreements, or even I wasn't really digging deep into that agreements with the lawyers, especially lawyers that are really very expensive. So I was just giving them to the most serious or important work. But I realized I have to consult my lawyer even for those small agreements or even tiny conversations with different partners. It's really good to approach them at the beginning, but as a startup, again, it's the finances and the fund that's really blocks us from doing that.
Oh, that's such good insight, and the advisory pieces too, and being able to also access at affordable rates and ones that are really like targeted for that moment in time where you're like, I need 30 minutes for someone to review this element before I go into that meeting. Yeah, that's such good insight. Thank you for sharing that, Ashwaq. Okay, I want to switch a little bit and ask you forward thinking. So what is the next year ahead look for? How does the next year ahead look for each of you? Or maybe even 3 years if you're thinking, but I feel like this moment in time, we're all kind of operating in like, yeah, we might kind of have a big 10-year vision, but we're kind of, this is the next year ahead. So whatever you're comfortable sharing of what feels big, exciting, maybe crunchy for your year ahead. Let's start with you, Ashwaq, for this one.
Yeah, for the next year, I mean, the big news for me is launching my product and getting the data of the clinical studies, because that's my plan to get the data hopefully by March next year, and then it will be afterwards launching the product. That's really so exciting for me. Going into the real operations, sales, and launching the product, that's really so exciting.
Oh, so exciting. We cannot wait. I'm trying to find my clap emoji. Can't wait to see it in market and celebrate that. Oh, really, really exciting. Whitney, how about you? What's the next year ahead?
Yeah, lots of exciting stuff. Our big plan is really to grow in terms of brand awareness this year. So doing lots of type of activations in kind of our key markets, which are the big urban areas in both the US and Canada. So all kinds of stuff with our community, which is really exciting. We also have launched advertising and marketing on places like Tinder that we hadn't done in the past. And we've actually got the highest click rate ever in terms of the advertising and stuff. So kind of continuing to break into new areas and marketing that we haven't done yet. And especially because of the shadow banning has been really hard. So we're taking our investment dollars and really putting them towards there. At the same time, we're a safer sex company first. So we want to extend our product lineup as well to include other things that help facilitate this, so that we're doing a lot of research and development right now in terms of that stuff, which really is exciting. And yeah, I would say that those are the major things.
Amazing. Thanks, Whitney. How about Pocketed? What's next?
Yeah, I think we have our work cut out for us this year. There is lots happening that is so far outside of our control that as a team, a lot of our dialogue is around how do we control the things that we can, so we are best positioned to weather and respond to and be agile with what's coming. And that is both for our own company, but it's also for supporting our users. And like real talk, there's some hard stuff lying ahead for all of us, really hard stuff lying ahead. We've been fortunate to live through a number of years of incredible market conditions, and that's changing very, very rapidly. So we're constantly being advised by smart people. Again, surround yourself with smarter people than you was our motto. We've nailed that, as Aria says. Listen to them. And what we're hearing from all of them is the same, which is buckle down, be ready, make smart decisions, focus on how you can be resilient as a business. How do you continue to be flexible and respond to opportunities as they come available? So that's a huge focus for us in the next 12 months. That's a big part of how we operate in our business anyway, but certainly for the next 12 months, yeah, it's going to be exciting and high growth, but it's going to be a lot of freaking work. So as we say to our team, buckle up because it's about to get hard.
Which is a perfect segue to my next question. And I wanted to ask you, how are you thinking about the current state of the economic world, and I'm not going to say recession proofing because, well, I don't know, some people are saying it, others are going, let's not. And as you think about market contraction, as you think about shifts in economic environment, what are you either having conversations with your team about or your advisors? How are you thinking about it in the context of your business? Let's go to you first, Whitney.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. I think with a product like ours, it's interesting to consider the fact that it's always necessary. So even during times of recession, people still need to be having safer sex. That being said, I think for us, it's about setting up empathy more and understanding where the community's at, where people are feeling they're at, so that you can kind of meet people where they are. So in terms of, the marketing and the activations and, even where we sell condoms already, our idea is to have them in retail that's untraditional and kind of have them front and center. And that, depending on the economic climate, depending on the political climate, that really changes. So that's something definitely that we're taking into consideration.
How about you, Ashwaq?
I'm on mute. Yeah, I think it's really struggling and challenging time for every startup with this inflation, and also especially people who was really looking for fundraising. I know that investors are really hesitating to invest, and they're so selective and for the late stage companies. But I see it also a great opportunity for our business and solution to be in the market soon, because we're helping people who have infections or even to prevent this infection and who can't afford to go to dentists for this visits or hygiene visits or maintenance visits. And also now we're adapting our vision to go after every cleaning teeth, or not only implants. So we know also people, 50% of the population, they don't have really access to a dentist, especially with these high rates. And now with the inflation, the prices will go higher. Yeah. So our solution will really help everyone. And we're also targeting to follow and to expand our products into cleaning teeth, trying to cancel those scaling visits or the need for the scaling visits, so people, they can take care of their teeth or implants at home, and this will really help them in this really difficult moment for everyone.
Thank you for sharing. So wise, all of you. I'm going to ask you a couple more questions, and I'm going to give the audience an opportunity, anyone who's live dialed in with us, if you have any questions that you'd like to bring forward to our finalists, please pop them into the chat and I will weave them into the conversation. And the question I'm going to ask each of you is, and it's a bit of a broad one, but I know you'll be able to run with it, is why do you feel it's so important to support women entrepreneurs with organizations like the Forum? You've all spoken a little bit about how the experience feels different. You've spoken about the value you've gotten out of it. And as an organization, as a charitable organization, we are continuously working with incredible corporate partners and donors and looking to bring new ones in. And in those conversations, we're sometimes asked, why do we still need organizations that are focused on women? And why does it make a difference? And what does it matter? And is it really still a need? And, I know that it is. We all collectively know. And I'm curious from your perspective, how would you think about it and how do you talk about it? How do you talk about, what their need really is and what the opportunity also is? Because that is, I think, equally exciting and important, and something I like to lead with is the opportunity that it provides. But let's go to maybe Team Pocketed first. Brianna, Aria, why do you think it's really important to support women entrepreneurs and support organizations that support them?
Yeah, I love this question. Obviously, there's still a need, and I'm surprised, quite frankly, that's even a question, especially in light of what we're seeing happen in the States last week, where, quite frankly, it's limiting women's rights. It's really scary. At the same time, I lose a lot of sleep over this, like an ecological free fall. And the UN just announced our oceans are in a state of emergency. That should scare you. Our oxygen does not come from trees. It comes from primary producers that primarily live in the ocean. So that's a big problem. We're starting to see effects of climate change, places that are getting droughts and deserts. In BC alone, last year, we saw fires, floods, mudslides. They're all related.
Atmospheric rivers.
Yeah, atmospheric rivers. Like, we're learning things like that. We're learning terms like that, right? And I am very involved with the scientific community still. And I was at a dinner, and a scientist who's older than me said to me, I used to think that we were going to feel the effects of climate change after I was dead. And now I think I'm going to continue to feel them in deep ways for the rest of my life. And so it's faster than we thought. Mars is not an option. That is a hill I will die on. So email me if you want to have that conversation, but it's not. And so we need innovation, and we need to do that in a big way. We can't do it with the same people, with the same ideas. That's literally the definition of insanity. So we really need a diverse group of people there. Women make up just over 50% of the world, and yet we're still fighting for diversity. Like, we represent diversity in most rooms, and that is, it's still sad, and it's necessary. We need a whole bunch of new people, voices, ideas in there, and that means that people are going to have to start reading about their own biases and investing in a broader group of concepts and people.
Yeah, absolutely. Brianna, anything that you'd add in terms of why women, why organizations that support women entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I think the case for women is very, very clear. It's becoming, in my opinion, self-explanatory, but it's still not, which is shocking. I will celebrate the day when we no longer have to talk about women entrepreneurs. We are just entrepreneurs. We are CEOs. We are bosses. And the minute we stop qualifying our role in the economy is going to be a really big day to celebrate, but we're not there yet. So in order to get there, the work that the forum does, that organizations that support the forum do, even in supporting the forum, is helping to advance that. So the faster we can get there, the better it's going to be for everybody for these massive global problems. And I can say without question, we are so grateful to the forum for the work that you do, because without it, you're not helping to, it's not leveling the playing field fast enough. So we are grateful and excited for a day when it doesn't need to exist in quite the same way, but it does absolutely need to exist today. And we're so grateful that you are leading that charge.
Thank you. Agreed with you around the pace. My team can attest to that. Faster, let's get there. Ashwaq, how about you from your viewpoint?
So on top of what Brianna and Arias mentioned, I can see the value into the exposure and networking through these events, or even in general through these agencies, because it gives us as a woman or female founders the encouragement, the required encouragement and strength to present our ideas. Maybe we can find like a lot of female founders or females that they have ideas which are really great and we need them, but they don't have this courage, or they're always discouraged by the surroundings that you can't succeed. You don't have enough time or enough energy to do it, or you need to learn a lot of things before you go to running a business or to start up your business. I think the exposure is really important. The value that I gain from such agency like a forum or even mentorship, coaching, I would really like to share and also to have other females access to that and to have the same value, because that's also what we need to encourage each other, so we can reach to the dream of being entrepreneur, not a female entrepreneur looking for
yes. Yes to all the sharing. I remember when I was saying a few years ago, biggest goal to not be the best kept secret. Not be the best kept secret. Yeah. Whitney, anything to add from your viewpoint? Why important to support women, organizations that support them like ours?
I mean, I definitely agree with everything said there, and you all said it much better than I could. I think really that when there's a lack of representation, when you don't really see female entrepreneurs out in the world, it's harder to know that you want to do that. So the more that there can be things like the forum that are even kind of promoting this idea that you can be an entrepreneur and you can kind of see yourself in it, I think will inspire others, down back to that point about like the world is in a very scary place. We need new ideas. We need new voices. So really the forum just does an amazing job of helping to kind of put women in the limelight, again, with the goal of just having entrepreneurs one day.
Yes, yes, the biggest limelight. Absolutely. All right, so we're just about to wrap, and I'm going to ask each of you one last question, which is I'm going to give you a moment to take it as a selfish moment to support you in your business. And that is, what is one call to action or one way that this community can support you? And if there isn't anything specifically right now, where should they follow you on socials? You can feel free to add that also in the chat. But what is your one call to action, call for support from this community? And let's maybe go to Team Pocketed first.
Make an account on Pocketed, start accessing that funds. We always brag about our community and how diverse it is. Create your free account. You can use the code Aria, ARIA. We have an internal contest. So whatever Brianna says, it's Aria, ARIA, and to get extra perks on your free account at Pocketed.
Love the friendly competition. So great. Amazing. Thank you.
Such a cheat. Yeah, such a cheat. Our second ask could be, we are raising a round right now. We are accelerating our fundraising plans based on what's going on macroeconomically, and to help us more quickly optimize a SaaS solution that is founder friendly, so that more businesses can get access to better tools to get government money to help them grow, particularly in the turbulent times that lie ahead. We'd love to connect with investors that might be interested in having a conversation, tell you more about Pocketed, and explore your interest in being part of the round.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Ashwaq, how about for you?
Yeah, it's the same. We're closing our seed fund, and I'm really trying to close it fast so we can launch our project as planned next year. So connection to investors talks to the investors who might be interested will be great for us. And also I'm hiring technical person with chemical engineering background. That will be really great for me. If there's any connections to people who might be a fit, that will be great. So, thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Ashwaq. And Whitney, how about for you?
Lastly, we're also closing around and love the idea of having an institutional investor at the table that really wants to be a part in terms of mentorship. So if anybody is interested in that regard, happy to have that conversation. We also are always looking for other distributors or retailers that want to carry gems and get it out into the world. The more people that have it, the better. And otherwise, you can follow us on Instagram or TikTok. There's tons of educational content there about safer sex and consent and choices. So love to see you on there as well.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. Clear calls to action. Love it. We'll make sure our team is amplifying them. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us and the community today. We continue to be in your corner. We'll be supporting you, shouting about you from the rooftops. And thank you again for your time. Thank you for the time. And thank you so much, everyone, for dialing in or watching us afterwards. It was so great to hear how the program and how really all of you, all of our community together is activating their support to elevate these incredible women entrepreneurs. And we're so excited to be able to continue doing so. We are just wrapping up our year. So our year end of the forum is actually June 30th. We're moving into the summertime, where as a team, we spend a couple of months planning for an incredible program year ahead. We're so excited already to start sharing that with you very soon. The pitch program, I can tell you the little sneak peek. You're going to want to keep your eyes out for applications early to mid-September for that. And we'll be releasing all of our programming dates ahead so that you can make sure that if you're a women entrepreneur who's listening, or you know a women entrepreneur, she can get plugged in and supported. And of course, on an ongoing basis, we have our mentor program, which accepts applications year round. And on Wednesdays, we host weekly connects, which are a free Zoom that you can dial in for an hour and be in a deeply generative and supportive space with fellow women entrepreneurs across the country. So you can find out about that online on our website. And if you have any questions, and if you're a woman entrepreneur or want to send a woman entrepreneur our way, I'm just popping my team members Erica's email into the chat, Erica, ERIKA @theforum.ca. She's happy to take any questions or make sure that we can plug you into the right programs. I'm checking my notes here to see if I have any other calls to action, but I think we have run through them. And what I will say is that As we move forward into our year ahead, we as a charity are also thinking about how do we bring in the right kind of support to ensure our sustainability and to make sure that we can do all of the work that we need to do to respond to the increasing needs that we hear from women entrepreneurs around our programming. Over the last couple of years, the demand for our programs has increased by 345%. And we do not see that slowing down. We expect it to increase. We expect it to increase as the markets change and as the economy changes. And so as an organization, we're thinking about bringing in additional resources to make sure that we can support and we can respond to the needs of women entrepreneurs. So if you are listening and you are in a position or ability to connect us to relationships or activate financial or relational capital to help us pursue those goals, we would really love to hear from you and are always open to those conversations. My email is Paulina, Paulina, at theforum.ca, and would so appreciate your consideration and thought around making sure that as an organization, we can keep meeting the demands to meet the opportunity that women entrepreneurs are creating. All right, well, we look forward to taking a couple of summer months and planning for the year ahead, and then coming back and seeing you all in September. We'll be around, our team is around as well, our weekly connects are activated. And once again, thank you so much for all of you being on the line, and we will be celebrating with you soon. And congratulations once again to our pitch finalists from this past year. It was so great to catch up, and we'll be in touch with everyone soon. Thank you and have a wonderful summer. And folks, as you turn off, if you'd like to turn on your camera and say goodbye and unmute yourselves, we welcome you to do so if you'd like to. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for having us. This is wonderful.
Nice to see everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.